Hey guys, so I have pre-shuffled. I'm still shuffling, but what I came across was recovery from loss, spiritual recovery from spiritual poverty, charity, improvement, learning karmic lessons, forgiveness, and positive change. Becoming a natural leader, a visionary and entrepreneur, seeing the bigger picture, overcoming challenges and obstacles, becoming more mature and more like career focused at this time. It's learning more about right now, like what our personal beliefs are, gaining the freedom and the courage to go against the grain, go against tradition, all rules and regulations. Um, Unconventional and unorthodox, foolishness, and becoming more generous and frail. Learning about hypocrisy, what hypocrisy really means. It's, you know, having a follow through, learning when we need to follow through and when we need to withdraw, as well as when we need to have blind faith. It's about being able to withstand the test of time through trials and to be able to understand the difference between dark and light, to embrace our shadow self and all of those obstacles and challenges that have come along with that. It's understanding the sacrifices that have been made in order for us to be where we are on this journey, as well as the sacrifices of those who have come before us, and understanding the road that they have paved in order for us to be where we are. And giving thanks, giving praise to the Most High God and our ancestors for being where we are and standing that test of time. Right now, we're closing cycles that have been long overdue. I have the world in the reverse, and it speaks of, sometimes having to seek personal liberation in situations where there was no closure. It's finding your own closure. It's finding an ending to cycles that have been left incomplete, whether it's in a relationship or even within yourself. Instead of, these answers being yes, sometimes these answers are no. And understanding what that is and how to face those challenges when those answers are no. Um, And it's also saying on this card that this is about your mindset. This is about your spiritual development. And then it also says, too, that the world in the reverse could also be an indication of unfinished situations in your life. So it's double sided, it's dual. It's at times you having to find, that closure within yourself, to be able to close out certain cycles that were long overdue. That it's like at times, people are unable to give you, those apologies, are unable for whatever reason, lack of spiritual growth, lack of understanding within themselves to be able to give you that clarity. And this is all about, self development, perfectionism, learning the ins and outs of perfectionism, within ourselves and within others, and understanding that it's a continual work in progress. Um, we faced a season of like no passion, uninspired, lack of motivation, um, dealing with greed and like misdirected activity, learning how to slow down. And if a job is worth doing, doing it well. Um, Remembering that if you're not willing to put in the work, you also cannot expect to, receive the reward. Um, which again takes us back to a season of sowing and reaping.
I just gave you some.
Okay, thank you. I'm working. But and it's like learning what we've invested in and understanding the motives of those around us. Not to be biased or, toxic in any kind of way, but to actually, take a balanced, mature approach in situations to understand where each party lies, in terms of, spiritual growth and development. To understand that some people aren't on a level of growth of, follow through or honesty, or, understanding that others can't give to us what they don't give to themselves, and, those things hurt. It hurts when, the follow through just isn't there in a give and take situation, like a situation that we expected to receive from, learning that there isn't going to be anything reciprocated on their end. Expecting, a three of cups situation, which is an energy of celebration, which again popped up a lot in these past readings I've done over the last, couple months, which is that's an energy that hasn't changed. It's like we expected, to celebrate in certain situations with specific parties and, just overall, it could be any area of life. Um, Whether it's business or any type of relationship, it's like we had a hope, we had an expectation, we had, we thought that door was going to be open. And it's like we entered dynamics where it was like that door slammed in our faces after, gaining a vision for the future and imagining what that future looked like with specific people and specific situations playing out, and just imagining specific relationships enduring the test of time. And that goes hand in hand with, just it not being our vision. Our vision is very small compared to the overall perspective of the universe, universal law, spiritual law. It's like, again, those things that we don't see that are taking place behind four walls, behind closed doors. You know, Sometimes people don't deserve to have certain access to your energy in the way that you want to share, the way you want to give. It's like there were certain, conversations that were had that you didn't know about, as an example, but God was there. The angel saw. And it's like God is saying it's okay, to allow me to make things different than what you ever thought they were going to be. So the Hangman card keeps coming out, and it came out with the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, which is deciding to no longer put the work in because we're realizing that we have been sacrificing ourselves in situations that are not being reciprocated. Therefore, we've been facing the reasoning behind these cycles that continue to play out over and over and over again. And understanding that our finances are also tied in to these decisions that we continue to make. Facing, energies from people that are cold, getting bad advice, suffering under, emotional manipulation, or, heartstrings being pulled on, dealing with moodiness and secretive behavior and volatile, behavior. It's just dealing with, again, people who are not, again, we can look at all these negative traits, but in reality, these are people who are not operating out of their heart space. These are people who are not tapped in, because again, in order to be tapped in and thriving off of that good energy, you have to be tapped into the divine in order to keep that energy flowing. What is it?
I'm just here to get this.
Okay, I'll be right there in a few minutes. But again, this has led to the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, which is friction, discord, arguments, financial failure or loss, fleeting success, which is, success that only lasts for a short period of time. It's created a lack of stability, misfortune, or loss, because it's not, these foundations haven't been built on a solid foundation, which is the heart space. The heart has to be healed. It has to be, firm. We have to be firm within ourselves. We have to, our yes be yes and no be no. We have to understand who and what we're dealing with. And it's like we've been living under some kind of shadow or some kind of illusion that has allowed us to view life and, the people around us in a certain distorted view. Yeah, it's like the Seven of Cups here. It's like you can't see it, but it's like it's a lot of illusions that we've been living under. Not completely understanding the domineering nature of others. It's like there's a domineering like undertone, which has like, greedy strings attached to it. You know what I'm saying? Whether people believe it or not, people consciously and subconsciously, are feeling these things or dealing with things that cause these issues to become one-sided. And again, we talk about like people in these different readings and how we think that they completely understand all the time, like it's a conscious thing that they're doing, but it's not. It's the energy is just there because of unresolved issues within themselves. So there's power and domination, and it becomes theft. It becomes unfair to the other party that has the ability to give and receive equally, to provide clarity, to has the emotional maturity to have conversations, you understand, to bring clarity for both, parties to carry things forward. Because we all go back to, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, which are people who are walking uprightly in their divinity and in their power. They have acknowledged their shadow side. They have done the spiritual work. They have acknowledged their shortcomings. And then when you look at, the karmic masculine and the karmic feminine, these are, divine beings who have stepped down from their place of divinity because, at some point they may have been divine, but these are people who were either born karmic or they were divine at one point, but things happen in life to where, they actually step down from their position. And it's kind of like sometimes it doesn't even they don't realize it. It's not always a conscious thing. So in a way, we take these things personal, as if, people are always just choosing to outrightly just take advantage of us or sell us short. But it has to do with levels of spiritual maturity and growth. And sometimes, partnerships are just not a match for us. And so we have to take into account, the work that we've done, in these relationships, but also within ourselves, and be able to understand the imbalances and where these imbalances are coming from by evaluating each one of our relationships. And see, this is actually a time of judgment, okay? Judgment is where we are all under judgment. Our souls are under judgment at this time. We are realizing where we've been sacrificed, where we have sacrificed ourselves, and we are surrendering. We're in a place of, you know, gaining deep insight and acceptance and enlightenment, gaining new perspectives, like this is all a part of judgment. This is seeing where we have fallen short, where others have fallen short in our lives. It's taking a look at the Seven of Cups energy, which is these illusions and these imbalances. First, the reason why judgment comes in is because there's imbalances, and now things need to be rebalanced. And we have the Seven of Cups, which is, a lot of different opportunities, wishful thinking, choices, illusions, and searching for purpose. It's like we're daydreaming, with all of these different thoughts. And it's like we're running into like confusion because there's a lot of, dreamy energy, a lot of like fantasies, and we're trying to decipher at this point like the difference between like what's illusion and what is real, what is light, what is dark, and understanding that in this earth, it's up and down, it's black and white, it's, really in reality there's no gray area. But you are in a gray area when you can't choose. It's like when you're in an area of confusion, you're in a gray area. Now, we can't remain in that gray area for too long, because then, it's like at some point you have to make a choice. At some point you have to choose. At some point you have to see what is what. And you have to, like when you're at a crossroads needing to make a decision, you have to get yourself unstuck. Like if you're stuck, you got to get yourself unstuck at some point. So I'm going to wrap this up in a minute, but I'm going to draw a conclusion here. Because again, a lot of these, like cycles have been incomplete because we're dealing with a lot of, situations that have no follow through. No, can't really stand the test of time because there's no solid foundation. So right here we have the Six of Cups, which is, taking a look back at our childhood, and the nostalgia and the innocence of how we viewed things and how we also still view, people and situations from the past, because we carry that with us, and we bring it into adulthood with us, and how that affects our foundation. So right now we're facing judgment in order to rebuild our foundations on solid ground.
Actually, this is actually a problem.
Okay, I'll wash it with soap for you.
No, it hurts.
Okay, I'm almost done, baby.
A big square
bandage. Okay.
No, the bluey ones.
Okay.
The square ones.
Okay. All right, I'll get you a square one. I'll be right there. So right here we got the Ace of Pentacles. We have this King of Cups here and the Ten of Pentacles being clarified by this Ace of Pentacles, which is after evaluating the fact that everything that we grow in our life, it stems from our heart space. It stems from dealing with all of this secretive behavior, which is everything that's been buried under the surface. It's like dealing with, all of this lack of compassion that we've had towards ourselves and the pain that we have dealt with that we've been dealing with under the surface that the light hasn't been able to shine on. But it's been affecting our finances. So when you have a closed heart chakra, when your heart is shut down, when it's bruised and broken, your heart is your foundation. If your heart, because in the word, in the Bible, the seat of the throne is the heart, and the seat is on the heart. So it's like the throne of judgment is also the heart. So it's the heart of the matter. We are getting down to the heart of the matter in this. The judgment takes place in the heart, and that's where we are. And the light is shining in on all of the nostalgia of our past. So everything from childhood has been looming under the surface, but it has never been dealt with until this point. It's like everything's been blurry and everything has been imbalanced. At the same time, we've been dealing with a lot of illusions, a lot of like wishful, hopeful thinking, but it hasn't been reality. Like we haven't been able to see reality quite for what it is. Because we've been wearing rose-colored glasses. We've been wanting to view people and situations out of love for them. Because we like to excuse behaviors for the love that we have for people. But that doesn't always help you in reality. It doesn't help you to put a real finger on like what the real issue has been, what the real problem has been in the heart of the matter, which is getting down to the nitty-gritty and really calling that thing out for what it is. Because until you actually put your real finger on it, it's like no longer being scared, allowing the light of God to shine on it, allowing the sun to come in and shine the light on that specific pressure point in order for it to be healed. It's like calling that thing out like for what it is, like, and not being afraid. Like no matter if it hurts you to see it, no matter if it hurts you to recognize it, or even if it bothers someone else, that they know that this is who you are, this is how it is, like this is how it's been, like I have to acknowledge my own truth inside of myself in order to set myself free, okay? In order to heal my heart space, because this is my truth, okay? And in doing so, acknowledging those pain and pressure points is what's allowing our hearts to heal. It's allowing the light to shine on it so that we can become healed, and then we can gain our new financial beginning. We can gain, now we can build on top of the solid foundation. Now the heart is healed, and now we can move forward and wait for our ships to sail in. After recognizing the truth for what it is and waking up to the offers also that we waited for that never showed up. Dealing with the manipulation, the poor planning, the lack of confidence, the narcissism, dealing like all of these looming energies under the surface, allowing the tower to fall in certain areas that we've been holding them up and no longer using the strength to hold up towers that are meant to crumble, but also no longer falling under the weight of burdens that do not belong to us, but like officially assigning, you know, the proper name tag with who and what it belongs to, realizing like when something is happening, if it's you or where it came from, and allowing that to be your closure, to say, you know what, like this wasn't me, you know, this never had anything to do with me, you know, and no longer taking responsibility for things that, you know, for not fixing things that you didn't break, you know, or, you know, if you did do something wrong, being able to call it out and say, you know what, yeah, I did make that mistake, you know, but it's taking accountability, you know, for yourself, and not taking accountability for things that weren't your responsibility, you know. Because again, we are our own worst critic, and it's like we've been punishing ourselves at times for things that we had no part in. And that's actually, self-punishment is actually another part of judgment. It's coming to find out that you have been doing these things to yourself and you have been holding yourself back. It's about the fact that you have all this inner criticism, and it's finding that place within yourself to realize that, you know, you are worthy. Like you know, you are reliable. You are, you know, you don't need to be disappointed in yourself for certain things that were confusing, that you played no part in. So all of those things liberate you within yourself. It sets you free in order for you to no longer bear the weight of that burden. And everything that's tying you down and holding you down, that's become a weight for you, it's like you can now like be liberated from it, because now there's no more chaos and illusions. Now there's clarity, and now you can finally move forward in liberation. So yeah, the good news is that we have an Ace of Pentacles coming after we do the healing, and we find the strength to move on from certain things that, you know, that no longer serve us, you know. And it could be a mindset, it could be anything, a mindset, a relationship, a job, just a situation. It could just be your own, you know, feelings that you're battling with that you just don't understand why, you know. It's being able to finally heal that so that we can move forward and gain that stability finally. But anyway, my name is Melissa Mink, and I am here to continuing to bring you the realest of reads. And I hope you have a good day, and I will see you again next time.